आराम से सर, आराम से, आराम से।
On these issues, our dignitaries will enlighten us on the subject. So, gentlemen, allow me to call Mr. V. Kamraj, who is Inspector General of Police, to share the brief on the subject.
Intruding upon his area of jurisdiction. All the same, I thought that since we have to think about the police reform, and since the subject of police reform has been engaged in the attention of the authorities a number of times, and since nothing yet has been done, it will be better to introduce the subject so that the speakers would, because we have a very short time, speakers would have to adjust in their insofar as the time allotted to them is concerned. But mainly, what we found was that there was 1966 Administrative Reforms Commission. Then there was Gore Committee on Police Training, 1971 to 1973. Then there was National Police Commission in 1977, which was up to 1981. Then there was Rebellion Committee on Police Reforms, 1998. Then there was Padmanabhaiah Committee on Police Reforms in 2000. Then the group of ministers on national security also considered the police reforms in 2000. Then there was Panimat Committee on the reforms of the criminal law, which suggested a number of police reforms. Lastly, there was expert committee set up to draft a new police act. Our police act is as old. It's an antiquated act. There are some provisions in the Police Act which absolutely are archaic. There are all different kinds of police acts, all state acts, because law and order is a subject meant for the state government. But what is found is that it's only the discussion and discussion. Without any results, it's not as if the police reforms have not been made. What was the condition of their service is different. Now, you find the computer-trained police officers, you find the police officers especially trained to find out the offences under the cyber law. You find the police officers trained to investigate into the intellectual property offences, the various technical offences. But is that enough? The question is, we will have to discuss as to what actually has been done and how is it reflected in the society, how the society has taken it, and how the society is the basic thing which I feel is, I was in England, I was in America, where I found that the police, a constable, is called not constable but officer. Everybody addresses him as an officer. Why? Because he has certain powers. He is not required to go to the DSP's house and without the lawn. He is not required to go to the inspector's house and reach his children in the schools. He is not asked to do the manual services of purchasing sabji from the sabji mandi brand. If we don't treat our constables with dignity, if the department doesn't treat a small constable with dignity, why should the world do it? And therefore, it's an extremely alarming situation. And at times you find that a person who is a dreaded criminal becomes the representative of people and is required to be guided by the same police officer who was after his blood. It's a mockery of the situation. I was in Tamil Nadu, Mr. Prabhakaran will tell you. And one day at 1 o'clock I came out in the Madras heat. I had to go somewhere. And I found a girl, a young girl, a constable, standing in front of my bungalow in that road. And she was obviously on her family way. And in that scorching heat, she was without water, she was without any shed. And I asked her, what are you doing here? I asked her in Tamil, what are you doing here? When this happened, she said that she was posted there, asked to order, could you please, she was asked to be there to guide certain VIP who was going to pass. Now a poor girl on her family way, I don't know how she was going to provide the safety to a VIP who was going to pass on that road. We will have to, now it's a good trade that we have good lady officers, lady constables, number of Maharashtra, Tamil Nadu, we have started seeing the lady constables even in Delhi. But the first thing that we will have to think about is number one, the selection. It's a farce in the name of selection. In 1 minute, I don't know how the officers decide as to whether he is a person to be fit to be engaged in the police force. They ask you, what is your name, what is your father's name, what is your education, and the interview is over. All this has to stop. The selection process has to be clean, has to be transparent, and has to be non-corrupt. When we sensitize our police, then alone this demon of corruption will stop. Otherwise, it's cancerously going. We will have to be extremely careful about this demon of corruption. So the first, the selection, proper selection. Second will have to be his training. In that training, he will have to be sensitized for the issues, for the values. I just now said about the 4 values in Indian Constitution. That will have to be inculcated. Now, fortunately, the police officers do not come from 4th class and 5th class and 6th class. You find even the postgraduates coming and joining as the constables. So, the training. 3, there will have to be a definite need to separate the police officers from the other duties and the investigating wing. The investigating wing will have to be made independent of any influence, independent of the influence of the politicians, independent of the influence of the bureaucrats, independent of the influence of the mafias. Unless this is done, the investigation will not be. I'm sorry to state this, that the blood-stained clothes are not sent for the foreign FSL. There are obviously the identification parades are not held. The eyewitnesses are not presented for identification. Maybe this is all deliberate. I can't grant that this is only incompetence. Therefore, when you train the police officer, when you sensitize the police officer, when you sensitize the police constable, third thing will have to be, you will have to ameliorate his conditions, his working conditions. You will have to, there are officers who have been working for 48 hours without food, because they are roaming here and there. It's very easy to say police is corrupt, they are incompetent, they are not doing this and they are not that. All of us must remember one thing, that when you point an accusing finger to the constabulary or to the police force, the other three fingers are at you. You are responsible, we are responsible for all these things. Therefore, it is a duty of the society to be very vigilant. Unless the vigilance comes from within the society, the police involved. I hope the co-panelists will concentrate on these subjects which are of extreme importance. I will of course keep on coming on and jumping in from time to time, but till then,
Honorable Justice Sir Purkar, friends on the day and friends in the distinguished gathering. The question of police reforms cannot be treated in isolation. It has to be viewed in the overall context. The beginning of democracy in the world started with the promulgation of the US Constitution, the basis of which was defined by Jefferson. And he said, rule of law implies separate the functions of implementation should be given to the magistracy and enforcement should be given to the police. And Jefferson and others went on to draft the Independence Act. The first constitutional commission established by the Government of India, headed by the distinguished former Chief Justice Venkatachalaya, has said that one of the main ingredients of rule of law, incidentally, rule of law is a basic feature of the Constitution after the Keshavanand Bharati ruling, is that there must be civilian control on the armed services. In the administrative jurisprudence also, civil service has been defined as that mode of governance in a democracy which excludes the armed services. His Lordship mentioned bureaucrats. I would like to submit very humbly that all bureaucrats are trained magistrates. So if the civil service are bureaucrats, then the police officers are also part of the same bureaucracy. Dictatorship in jurisprudence is defined as authority without accountability. In India, what we see is a reverse flow. There is virtually no accountability of the police. The police commissioner system is being spread, is expanding all over India. But if we examine the fine print, the police have no accountability. The statistics bear out what I say. It is not a reflection, as his Lordship said, pointing a finger, but the statistics are disturbing. The Transparency International reports, after interviewing thousands of respondents, that the most corrupt organization in the country is police. 100% of them responded. The investigation of the police independently is seriously flawed, because investigation is without any supervision. This is borne out by the conviction rate in the courts, where the conviction of serious offences is less than 10%. By serious offences, I mean the Indian Penal Code offences. Rest of the almost 90% are what could be described as deviant social behavior, prostitution, gambling, violation of motor vehicle rules. But serious offences, there is no proper investigation, no supervision. As his Lordship mentioned, that the Supreme Court started with the observation that during investigation by the police,